Today we're going to show you 5 ways to give your photos that sort of dreamy look. Hi there everyone, in this video we're going to show you 5 different ways that you can edit your photos to give them that dreamy look. Now, dreamy photos look something like this. They usually have soft, diffused light that can be compared to a sort of foggy haze. Now, the first way to add a dreamy touch to your photo is to use the tool Dehaze. The Dehaze slider is used to remove haze, as the name suggests, and I'm going to use it for exactly the opposite reason actually, because dreamy photos tend to have more haze, like we mentioned earlier. Now, Dehaze is found in the exposure section under details, and moving this slider to the right removes haze, so let's do the opposite and move it to the left, which is going to add haze. Now, another way to add a dreamy touch to your photos is by going over to the Develop module and using the Glow Effect tool. This effect works really well on photos with a light source or bright surfaces. Keep this in mind when you're choosing a photo so that you're not disappointed if your photo doesn't have bright areas where there were no highlights. Now, I'm going to demonstrate this dreamy effect on this photo right here, which is a flower with super bright highlights. First, I'm going to increase strength for glow so you can see what the effect does to the photograph. And I recommend moving the sliders all the way from one side to the other so you can really see how each slider affects your photo. Next, I'm going to decrease threshold and increase size. Now let's stay in the Develop module just for a little bit longer so we can check out the gradient filter, which is also going to be useful for the purposes we need it for. The gradient filter is in the toolbar next to straighten lines, and it's marked with an icon of a square with an arrow. Looks like this. And you can also access it using the G key. Now, the gradient filter comes in super handy if you want more soft light in your photo. So I'm going to add some gradient to the corner of my photo. Then I'm going to go all the way to the bottom of the right panel and find the color overlay option. Now, I don't want to create this fake light by adjusting exposure, but rather simulate it by adding a color gradient. And I'm going to choose a light yellow for my color. I'm going to set the blending mode to screen, adjust the intensity, and we're done. Now, for more ways to give us a dreamy look to our photos, let's move over to the Editor module where we're going to play around with the lens flare. Now, lens flare is found under Effects Tools. I'm going to check all the lens flare options and click the photo to apply the lens flare. Now that we've added our lens flare, let's adjust the size, hue, saturation, and lightness. And if necessary, we can remove the parts that we don't want in our photo. And I'm quite happy with how it turned out as it is right now. Now, the last way to achieve a dreamy effect with your photograph is to use color gradients. Gradient is found under Drawing Tools, or you can select it by using the keyboard shortcut Shift and B. Now, I'm going to change the gradient of this flower photo to purple and white to match the color of the flowers. And once again, I'm going to select Screen for blending mode, and I'm going to lower the opacity for the gradient. The resulting gradient is somewhat similar to the one I showed you earlier in the Develop module, and because I only used color there as well. But here, I used 2 or more colors, while in the Develop module, I only used 1. Alright, so these are some of the ways that you can achieve dreamy photos for yourself. I recommend that you turn on your computer and try to achieve some of those now with your own photos. As always, I hope you enjoyed this video and it gave you some more inspiration to photograph and edit. Leave us a thumbs up, let us know what you think below, and as always, don't forget to hit the subscribe bell so that you never miss another video again. Look forward to seeing you in the next one. Until then, take care, see you later.